May 1945. Late afternoon, just west of Munich. The Bavarian sky hangs low and bruised, the color of old steel. A battered Focke-Wulf Condor limps across a grass airstrip that had once belonged to Jagdgeschwader 3. Smoke still rises from the wrecked hangars. On the edge of the field, 30 young women in the gray-blue uniforms of Luftwaffenhelferinnen stand in perfect rank, hands clasped behind their backs, faces pale beneath the dust of surrender. Their anti-aircraft batteries lie silent, barrels pointed uselessly at the sky they no longer command. A low rumble grows in the south. 4 silver P-51D Mustangs, long-range bellies gleaming like mirrors, circle once and drop gracefully onto the strip. The propellers have barely stopped turning when the canopies slide back. American pilots climb down, leather jackets patched, scarves loose, moving with the easy fatigue of men who have flown too far and seen too much. One of them, a captain from the 357th Fighter Group, pulls a crumpled pack of Lucky Strikes from his breast pocket. He tops out 4 cigarettes, lights his own with a Zippo that flashes once in the dying sun, then walks straight toward the line of German girls. Without ceremony, he offers the pack. 30 pairs of eyes widen, 30 mouths open, but no sound does not come. The only noise is the soft tick of cooling Merlin engines and the distant crackle of a burning Me-109 2 kilometers away. For 4 years, these young women had been told that the American airman was a mercenary gangster, a rootless creature of jazz and Jewish gold, incapable of discipline or sacrifice. Propaganda newsreels had shown grinning, gum-chewing pilots dropping bombs on kindergartens. The girls had slept in freezing barracks, eaten ersatz soup, plotted shell trajectories through sleepless nights, convinced they were shielding the fatherland from subhuman barbarians. They had expected, if capture came, to be spat upon, perhaps worse. Instead, a tall lieutenant with wind-burned cheeks and a faint Oklahoma drawl in his posture places a cigarette between the trembling fingers of 18-year-old Helferin Anneliese Faber from Dresden. Another pilot offers his lighter. The flame dances. Anneliese inhales, coughs once, then stares at the glowing tip as though it were a fragment of another planet. The tobacco is rich, almost sweet, nothing like the harsh Makorka or the sawdust-laced substitutes they had rolled from newspaper in recent months. The smell alone, warm Virginia leaf, carries with it the impossible scent of a world that still has harvests, drugstores open on Sundays, mothers who do not queue for 3 hours for a single potato. The historical record is precise. On 6 May 1945, elements of the 357th and 364th Fighter Groups landed at multiple former Luftwaffe fields around Munich and south of Munich to accept local surrenders and secure airfields for the advancing 7th Army. War diaries of 3rd Flak Regiment 241 note that 112 female auxiliaries aged 17 to 22 were assembled at Neubiberg under orders to maintain discipline until formal capitulation. The American After-Action Report filed by Major Robert W. Foy of the 364th records in his usual terse style, shared K-rations and cigarettes with enemy flak crew, all female. Morale effect immediate and total. Recommend repetition wherever possible. But statistics do not capture the silence that fell across that field. One by one, the girls accepted the offered cigarettes. Some tried to click heels and salute. The Americans gently waved the gesture away. A red-haired pilot from Alabama produced a second pack, then a third. Soon, the gray ranks dissolved into small knots of blue and khaki. Lighters snapped open like tiny golden doors, the air filled with smoke that smelled of abundance itself. For these young women, the cigarette became more than tobacco. It was the first object from the enemy's hand that did not explode. It burned slowly, evenly, wasting nothing. The paper crisp and white, the filter tipped in cork, every detail shouting of factories that still had cotton, chemicals, electricity, time. Each drag delivered a message their propaganda declared impossible. The enemy possesses not only superior machines, but superior margins, the luxury to give away what we ration by the gram. Anneliese would later write in a diary discovered decades afterward in an attic in Leipzig. When he held the flame for me, I saw his hands, clean nails, no frostbite, a watch that still worked. I thought this is what victory looks like before it even speaks. Another Helferin, Gertrude Mueller, confessed to an American interrogator on 9 May, words recorded verbatim in 7th Army G2 files. "We were taught you were starving us from the air. Then you gave us your cigarettes, and I understood we had already lost long before today." Across the Reich that spring, the same scene repeated in 100 variations. At Lechfeld, at Fürstenbruckfeld, at Erding, wherever the long-nosed Mustangs touched down, packs of Lucky Strike, Camel, Chesterfield passed from leather-gloved American hands into the numb fingers of teenagers who had spent years trying to kill them. The U.S. Army Air Forces had shipped 1.6 billion cigarettes to the European theater in 1944 to 45 alone, more tobacco than the entire Reich could produce in 2 years once the Romanian oil fields burned and the Ukrainian granaries fell. The cigarette became the quiet, fragrant proof that a society that can still produce, ship, and casually share its small daily joys to the ends of the earth has already won the soul of the war, long before the last shot is fired. Freedom, it turned out, had a flavor, and on a grass airstrip in Bavaria in the spring of 1945, it tasted like a lucky strike offered by a stranger who did not hate you enough to withhold even this bit. The engines cooled, the sun slipped behind the Alps, the smoke drifted eastward over a continent learning one shared cigarette at a time what abundance really means.